Hello there, the topic of today's video is timetable. In the current world, which is fulfilled with projects, tasks, activities, participation in multiple events at the same time, it's important to keep yourself calm and focused. And one of the best tools to do it is to create a timetable, which will allow you to keep all your tasks in one place and also will provide you with a nice visualization of what you need to do and when. Without further ado, let's go to Excel.
As we agreed, we tried to create a very simple timetable, and at the end we would like to get something similar to this table. Let's split the exercise in 3 parts. First of all, let's work on the left part. Let's imagine we have a project or simply a list of tasks. It makes sense to split them in groups. In our case, I split them by teams, operations, sales and marketing. Also, it can be very helpful to add some holidays. You can definitely go with one big list, but then it will be harder to manage it. So first 2 elements which we need to fill in is the start date, finish date and the duration. You need to define 2 parameters out of 3. I suggest to go with the start date and the duration, while the finish date will be the output. Here, as you can see, I put some dates and the duration of each of the tasks. At this stage, I highly recommend to add start adjusted date, because as it usually happens in real life, the project may be delayed. In order to be flexible, it makes sense to have a schedule which you can shift by X days in one shot. So in this case, we need to add one additional parameter, which is start delay. Here I put 15 days, for example, and in each formula here, we need to add this parameter. As usual, don't forget to use F4 to lock this cell. Now, as you can see, my start date is a parameter. We can put 0 here, and then the adjusted start date will be equal to start date. The finish date is equal to adjusted start date plus the duration. So now we have all the dates which are required to build the time schedule, and we can even play with the start date.
In some cases, it may be helpful to print only the list of tasks, which is the short version of your timetable. And in this case, it can be beneficial to have the status of each task located right next to the task itself. Let's see how to do it.
Before going to status, it makes sense to create additional cell, which is called today. In order to have it, we simply use formula today without the argument, and whenever you open the file, it will be updated automatically. So now let's fill in the status. If the start of the project is later than today, don't forget to lock the cell. Then we put not started. Then we open another if, and we say that if the finish date of the project is less than today, again don't forget to lock the cell, then the status is finished, and if not, then the status is in progress. Okay, my random example shows that all the projects are finished. Let's delay the project by, let's say, 30 days. In order to improve the readability of this part, let's add conditional formatting. We select the whole cell, we go to conditional formatting, new rule. It may look a bit differently on the Windows and on Mac, but conceptually it's the same, so we go to the classic format. The next step is very important. We need to choose the formula to define the conditional formatting. If this cell is equal to finished, then let's choose green. As you can see, now all the finished tasks will be highlighted in green. For instance, if we change a bit the delay of the project, as you can see, plenty of those will be green. Now let's repeat this exercise in order to add the conditional formatting for other types of status. We'll go to Manage Rules, we will select the rule which we already created, and we push the button Duplicate Rule. Now we need to open this rule. Here we need to change the word, for instance, to in progress. And here let's select yellow.
We will repeat the same exercise for all the options of status which we have in our column. If you're not fully confident with the conditional formatting or you want to learn more about this tool, you can check a separate video on my channel.
So now it's very good. Frankly speaking, this table already gives enough information about the status of the project and its tasks. But I would suggest to add one additional column. Let's add additional cell which will show the project finish date. Let's select it, and here we'll put just the maximum of the finish dates. We just don't need to select the holidays. So the project is supposed to be ended on March 5th.
Our current table is good, but not great. It already gives you sufficient information about the absolute dates. So what I suggest to add is the relative dates. And usually, when we talk about the project, the relative dates are linked to the end of the project. Let's see how to add this information to our table.
We'll put the following thing. We'll put concatenate formula, then we select D dash, and the next would be the text of the following value. We select the project finish date, put F4, minus the finish date of the exercise, and as a format, we will put 2 zeros. By the way, let's correct the mistake here. Now if we copy this formula, and let's rename this column as a timeline. In this column, you'll be able to see that, for instance, this task must be finished 13 days before the end of the project. Another benefit of this column is that if you change the start date of the project, things will change, but this thing will not change.
Now we're good with the first part. Let's move to the timetable itself. If you find this video helpful, you know what to do. Let's move to the next part.
And let's define the header of our timetable. First of all, let's put the dates. So we select the cell and we put the following formula. Let's say we start from the beginning of the year. Before going further, let's change the format of this cell. We go to Format Cells, or we can use the hotkey Ctrl or Command 1. Then we go to Custom Format, and let's put the following format to this. So the format will be very condensed and will not take much space. Now let's copy it, and we can extend it till the end of the file. Also, what could be helpful is to show the month. In order to put the month, let's do the following. So in first cell, we will simply put the date of this day. In the second cell, we put the following formula. If month of this date is not equal to month of the previous date, then we put equal to the cell. If not, we put empty cell. We close the bracket and we extend the formula. Now we select the whole area and we go to Format Cells. In the custom format, let's clean everything and let's put only 1M, which is the number of the month. So now as you can see, it shows that it's January. And as of this column, we see that the February started. And in the last line, let's show how many days before the end of the project do we have. If this date is more than the end of the project, then we put empty cell. In other cases, put this date minus the project date. Don't forget to lock the cell. Again, let's go to the Format Cells. Let's go to General, push OK, reduce the size. We can put it in the middle and let's extend the formula. And now if we change the start date of the project, let's take out the delay. We will see on the schedule, all the dates on the right will be empty.
One important element to decide before you fulfill the timetable. You need to clearly define to yourself and to the users of your timetable, what does the finish date mean? In this example, I modified the formula to ensure that the finish date represents the last working day on each of the tasks.
Now it's time to fill the timetable itself. So we select the whole area, including all the tasks. We go to conditional formatting, create new rule. Let's select the classic option. We again will use the formula option and we'll put the following formula. We need to have two conditions being true. First of all, the current date, don't forget to lock the row, must be more or equal than the start date of the project. And here we need to lock the column. And also the current date must be less or equal than the finish date of the project. And here we again lock the column. Let's select some formatting. Let's take a fill with, let's say, violet color. Let's take out the project delay. And as you can see, all the days are highlighted. And that's pretty much it for the task. However, in your project, you may have much more tasks. And it may make sense to color them differently based on the function which is accountable for this task, or maybe the nature of the task itself. This is why in column B I have the code name. Let's put different codes for different tasks. Let's say code 1 here and code 2 for all other tasks. And for the holidays, let's put the code 3. Now we need to select our area once again. We go to conditional formatting, we go to manage rules, we find our main rule, which defines the coloring of the timetable, and we add one more condition. We say that the code, and here we need to lock the column, is equal to 1. Then only the tasks with the code 1 will be colored. If we change the code in these tasks, they will be colored as well. So now let's select the area once again, and let's create the color coding for the other tasks. We go to conditional formatting, manage rules, we select our rule, we push the button duplicate, we open it, and we say if the code is equal to 2, let's select, for instance, color blue, push OK, it's done. And let's repeat this once again. Again, we go to duplicate. And in this case, we put code number 3. This will be only for holidays. So for holidays, let's select some green color, push OK, and that's it. As you can see, now all the tasks are split.
Well, that's pretty much it. I hope with these tips, you will manage to become at least 1% more productive. Thank you and see you in the next one.